What is up, Star Wars fans? This is Darth Watson. In this video, we got some new announcements for the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars film that was announced at Star Wars Celebration, and including a teaser trailer that wasn't released publicly, so I couldn't react to the trailer, but there was a trailer that was released at Star Wars Celebration only for the people attending Star Wars Celebration. I was able to watch some of the footage that was captured by some of the people at Star Wars Celebration, but we got our first few images that have been leaked from the teaser trailer for the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars film, and including a new logo for the Mandalorian and Grogu. So let's review all these images that was released and that was released from the teaser trailer that was shown at Star Wars Celebration. So first up we have is Din Djarin, Grogu, and Zeb. So Din Djarin, Grogu, and Zeb look like they're on Tatooine in this image. It kind of looks like they're on Tatooine in this image. So this image looks like Tatooine, especially with the sandiness and everything. And it looks like a desert planet. So it looks like that Din Djarin and Zeb and Grogu are on Tatooine with this image. And Zeb was first introduced into live action in Mandalorian Season 3. And also was in Star Wars Rebels in animation. So we also have a return of the AT-ATs, which takes me back to Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. And Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back was my favorite Star Wars film of the original trilogy. And we see our first image of the AT-ATs that will be coming back in The Mandalorian and Grogu. And then we also have what looks like the planet Hoth. So Hoth is looking like it's going to make its return in The Mandalorian and Grogu. So we'll have the planet Hoth return in The Mandalorian and Grogu. And we have another image which I couldn't find, which I saw earlier somewhere, but I couldn't find the image now, and it was a image of Rada the Hutt in a ring with audience. So it looks like that. It looks like Rada the Hutt in a wrestling ring with Rada the Hutt as a full-grown adult, which was first introduced to us. Rada the Hutt was first introduced to us in the Clone Wars when Anakin and Ahsoka was rescuing Rada the Hutt from being kidnapped. So we have the return of the AT-ATs, Rada the Hutt, and the return of the planet Hoth, which there's going to be some ties to the Clone Wars, some ties to the original trilogy indefinitely, especially with Empire Strikes Back, and there's also going to be some ties with the sequel trilogy as well, which hasn't been confirmed yet for The Mandalorian and Grogu, because Jon Favreau has confirmed that The Mandalorian leads to the sequel trilogy, but it looks like we're going to see some ties with the sequels, we're going to see some ties with the originals, and going back to the Clone Wars with Rada the Hutt. And then next we have is a New Republic pilot behind the scenes image with Jon Favreau and a few droids, and then a New Republic pilot with a few droids. We also see Din Djarin once again, and then we see the stage at Star Wars Celebration with Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, Pedro Pascal, Kathleen Kennedy. So it looks like that. And then we also have what's coming from Reddit. We can see a little bit more images. So again, we see Din Djarin, Grogu, and Zeb, which was in Mandalorian Season 3 and in Star Wars Rebels, which Zeb was first introduced to us in live action in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. And then we also have again, once again, we also have Din Djarin and Grogu. Well, I haven't shown you guys this from Star Wars Newsnet, but it's Din Djarin and Grogu at a local bar. We have images from the planet Hoth. We also have another image of the Anzellans with Grogu. We have an image of the New Republic pilot with some droids, and behind the scenes image with Jon Favreau. And then we also have another image of Din Djarin and Grogu again. We have Din Djarin, and then we have the Mandalorian and Grogu logo, the official logo for the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars film. I can't believe that this film is going to be the first film to be introduced back to the big screen, especially with The Mandalorian, despite season 3 of The Mandalorian, but was doing so well on Disney Plus, and hopefully season 4 of The Mandalorian will get announced at some point, because we still deserve a season 4 of The Mandalorian that leads up to The Mandalorian and Grogu and wraps things up with The Mandalorian. But The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be the return of Star Wars to the big screen, and I cannot wait till this film comes out in May of next year. And then we have the Starfighter Star Wars movie, which is directed by Sean Levy, coming out the year after. So we're going back to the fact that we will have at least 1 or 2 Star Wars films coming out. We'll go back to at least 1 Star Wars film coming out, but I have a feeling that we might end up having 2 Star Wars films come out per year instead of 5 Disney Plus shows per year, which is better for Disney and Lucasfilm in my opinion. But as far as everything goes, this film is going to be much more than what was leaked earlier about the Mandalorian and Grogu. I think that's going to be much more than rescuing Rada the Hutt as the plot. I don't think that's the plot of the entire film. That would be pretty boring in my opinion. And I think it's going to be much bigger than rescuing Rada the Hutt. Rescuing Rada the Hutt will probably be part of the film. That's not going to be the entire course of the movie for The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's going to be Din Djarin and Grogu working for the New Republic, working with Zeb, as we saw in an image, which looks like they're on Tatooine. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. I am excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars film. I hope they release their first public teaser trailer soon. But anyways, that's all I have to say for this video. Do make sure to smash a like, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you all later in another video.